Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to my channel. Today's recipe is a Singaporean rice. Now I'm not really sure if this is actually from Singapore or what it is, but it's called Singaporean rice. And it's really easy. It's 3 steps. So first thing first, we are going to boil some water in 2 separate pots because we will be boiling some rice and some pasta. I would suggest using angel hair spaghetti, but if you do not have that on hand, then any type of spaghetti would work. So I used around a cup and a half of white rice and around the same amount for the spaghetti, a cup and a half. And what you're going to do is just boil it till it's ready. And what I did is that so that the rice and the spaghetti don't get stuck together while I'm cooking the chicken, I put some butter in it. For the rice, I actually put some salt in the water while it was boiling, so that's why I didn't add any salt into the rice after it was boiled. But as for the pasta, I added some butter and around a teaspoon some salt and around a teaspoon of butter. Just mix that in while it's still hot. Now the next step is that you're going to need 1.5 breast chicken, medium sized, and some bell peppers, spring onions, tomatoes, 3 cloves of garlic, minced, a lemon, soy sauce, ketchup, and the seasonings. The seasonings I'll tell you as we are going. So first thing first, you're going to need around 3 tablespoons of oil. Once you have your tablespoons of oil in it, then you are going to put in your green onions and your garlic. Now you're going to fry the green onions till they lose a little bit of color, so they basically pale a little bit. So you're just softening them. So around a 1 minute or so. After frying them for around 1 minute or so, you're going to add your garlic and just fry the garlic until you get the fragrance of the garlic. And then once you start smelling the fragrance of the garlic, that's when you're going to add your breast chicken. Now, I already had cubed the breast chicken beforehand. Make sure to cube them small so that once you are done cooking everything, you don't have to cut them and make them bite-sized. Once your chicken changes color from pink to white, now once the chicken is mostly white, then we are going to add in our tomatoes. Now notice that once we put in the tomatoes, there will be some water that shows up. We are going to keep that water. We actually want that water to stay in here. After you mix in the tomatoes, basically saute them a little bit, get them nice and soft, then you're going to put in your peppers. The peppers I used is the 3 colored peppers. There's orange, yellow, and red. I used a half a pepper each, so half a bell pepper each. I did not use the mini sweet peppers. I used the big bell peppers. So that comes around to be a cup and a half of chopped bell peppers. Once your tomatoes are nicely softened, then you're going to throw in your bell peppers. Just give it a nice mix. And same thing, we are going to cook it until it's softened, so around 3 minutes of constant stirring so that it does not get stuck at the bottom of the pot. Now once you see that the chicken mixture has released some water, then you are going to add in your seasonings. The seasonings that I use is salt, black pepper, cumin powder, and red chili flakes, so crushed chili flakes. You are going to use a teaspoon of each of these, and you're going to use a dash of soy sauce. So for exact amount, you'll use around a teaspoon and a half of soy sauce and 1 tablespoon of ketchup. If you don't have ketchup or you do not want to use ketchup, then in this case you may use 1 teaspoon of tomato paste, not a tablespoon, teaspoon. But the ketchup has this sugary taste in it that actually helps thicken the sauce. So that's the reason why we use ketchup instead of tomato paste. Just give that a nice twirl, nice mix. once all the seasonings are incorporated and the color starts to change a little bit to a murky reddish color, then we're going to juice in our lemon. So I used a half a lemon at this point. I did not use the whole lemon. I did taste it later to see if I needed some more lemon, and I added a quarter more of lemon juice. So if you already have some lemon juice out, like already squeezed lemon juice, then you will need around 1.5 teaspoons of lemon juice. If you don't have that, then 1/2 lemon will do the job. Once you have your lemon squeezed in, then just mix it in. Then after that, you're going to take 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour with around 1.5 tablespoon of water, and you're going to mix that in. Once that becomes into a thick watery paste, and then you're going to put that into the chicken mixture to thicken the water that's already in the chicken mixture. Now, after adding in the flour paste, you're just going to mix it until you see that the water is thickening. Right when you see that the water has thickened a little bit, after a minute or two of stirring, then you're going to remove it from the heat. Do not let it stay on the heat, because it will get thick, and then you won't have any gravy, and you want some of the gravy. So once it's a nice consistency, after 2 minutes of mixing, take it off the heat, put it to the side, and then we will make the sauce that goes on top of this. Now for the sauce, you will need some mayonnaise, you'll need some ketchup, salt, garlic powder, and some chili powder. The mayo, you'll need around 2 tablespoons of mayo. Then you will need 1 tablespoon of ketchup, a pinch of salt, and a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of chili powder. And you're just going to mix it until you get a orangey looking paste. Okay? Once your sauce is made, then you are going to move on to layering your Singaporean rice. So you would need a deep dish, any type of baking dish or serving dish that is deep, and you're going to layer the first layer with some rice. Now, normally what I do is that I butter the bottom of the pan or whichever thing I'm using, and then I put the rice in. But since I had already added some butter to the rice, I did not do that at that point. So you're going to put it just enough so that it's a thin layer, not too thin where you can see the bottom of the tray, but thick enough that your spoon could go all the way down. Then you are going to put in your spaghetti, just a nice thin layer of spaghetti, and right on top of the spaghetti you are going to put in your chicken mixture. Now this is where the gravy part of the chicken is very, very important, because if your gravy thickens too much, then you won't be able to cover the top part of the spaghetti. So make sure that you do not thicken your gravy too much. After adding your chicken, you are going to basically put the sauce around the sides of the tray, not all over. You're not going to drizzle it, you're just going to basically make a design with it and make it just look nice. Now I had purposely made a lot of rice and chicken mixture just because I will be using a small tray, and since I was making this for lunch and dinner, I decided to make a small tray for lunch and then also make another tray for later. But what I did was that because you have to warm it up, you cannot warm up the sauce. So if you are making another one for dinner, just put it in a container without the sauce and later put on the sauce once it's warmed up. If you like this recipe, stay tuned for more recipes like this, and like and subscribe to my channel.